together, sort of like a review. All right. You write these Hebrew letters in cursive. Everybody got your little sheet there? So everybody do it? All right, how do you write that?
The dinosaur with his eyes.
I gotta tell you something funny. So, I'm kind of helping my daughter organize her house and everything. So we bought these little herb jars, and we were going to put them in alphabetical order and put them in this little case and everything. So I said, okay, I'll do that. So I put them in little jars and I alphabetize them. She walks over and she says to me, Mom, you put these from right to left. I alphabetized them right to left instead of left to right. I thought that. I said, oh, boy, it's really sinking in. All right. Sheen. Looks like an E with a dot. Mem. Not Mem Sophie. Yud. That's easy. Resh. Vet. No dot.
He's got his eyes closed.
Huh?
The dinosaur has his eyes closed.
Oh, dinosaur's eyes are closed. Tav. Vav. We'll just go down here. Dalit. Where am I? Sin. Lamed. And Mem Sophie. How'd everybody do? Pretty good? Okay, transliterate the Hebrew words below. So let's start with lulav on the right. So it'll be lulav, maror, dam, and volleyball. Okay? Transliterate the Hebrew to English. Now, you didn't really have to put the nikudot because you don't know for sure. Well, I guess it does tell you there, but you didn't have to put the nikudot if you didn't want to. Translate the Hebrew to English. So what? Oh, this is just going. Oh, okay, we're just translating it. So what is Shem?
There. Name.
Pardon?
Is it there? Name. Here. There.
Its name.
Name. Oh. Sham is there.
Shabbat.
Sabbath. Shabbat.
The Sabbath. And Bat. Daughter. Yeah, I forgot it. I had some in there where I had the transliteration and I had them write the Hebrew, and I took that out. It's probably better. That's it, right? Everybody do pretty good? Made 100. Okay. All right, last week we had a new sort of, it's not really a vowel, or a nikud, it's not really, but we had a new symbol. Do you remember what it was? Looks like that. It's not side by side. The shva. So there are some rules. Right now, for the most part, these rules will apply to your reading. Of course, as the farther along we get, the more exceptions and more different rules. If it's a long vowel, if it's a short vowel, that sort of stuff. But right now, this is just pretty simple. There are 4 cases when the schwa is vocal. So that means when you actually say it. When it begins a word, so that one is, say it, be, ra, ha. Okay? Be, ra, ha.
Yeah, we don't know that car yet.
Oh, okay. Well, on the bottom it tells you the
Right.
transliteration. Okay, number 2, when the second of 2 in a row. So the first one here, it just says, when it's the first one, you're going to pronounce it. Yeah, that. And remember that a lot of times they'll use that because you can't transliterate in an E because it would be be. Although a lot of times you will see it like, even when we do our own transliteration in the congregation, a lot of times we'll use be. So sometimes you will see it like this. But a lot of times you'll see it with the little u. That indicates it's a schwa. So it should be pronounced very quickly and very I instead of an e. All right, the second one. So when you have 2 of them together, so this is mish. So in this case it ends. Okay, and next week we'll do more on syllables. Okay, but this ends the syllable. So this schwa just ends it. Mish. Now we've got another one. You haven't done this one yet either. But anyway, we have another one, so that's going to be pronounced. Ba, mish, ba, and then you haven't done this one either. Te, mish, te.
Just to get the idea.
Okay, but this one ends it, so this one makes it a syllable, and we're going to be doing syllables, like I said, more next week. And then you pronounce this one. So this one, after the syllable is ended, it's sort of like starting again and being the first. Does that make sense? So when there's 2 of them together, the first one is just the ending, and the second one is the beginning of another syllable. So you'll pronounce it. Now, there are times when you do pronounce this one too. All right. Number 3. When under a doggish forte letter. So, for example, this is where I said sometimes you do pronounce this. Number 3. So, unfortunately, you haven't had these letters, but normally a mem does not have a doggish in it, correct? No, we don't need it because we need it for bet, and bet is to tell the difference. We need it for other letters that we'll get to, so we can tell the difference. But mem normally does not have a doggish. When it does have a doggish, or a dot, and a schwa, then you do pronounce it. So you would pronounce it hum. So you're going to have the doggish makes it a double, kind of double. So hum. So that's the ending. Then the doggish says it's a double. So now it's meh. Okay. Hamed. And then lanim. The doggish. Lanim. Okay, and sometimes they'll put, instead of this little u, they're going to put a e. So you would have hamed. So there's a doggish there. The doggish makes it hard, makes it a double. I think we're going to get to another one. Let me see.
Yeah, there's one more.
Oh, at the end we'll get to it, yeah. All right, so at the beginning of a new syllable, and then when it has a doggish, on top, or the schwa is under a dogish, so it doubles it. So,
It doubles that letter.
yes, it's sort of like, okay, it's sort of like this word. What's this word? Shabbat, okay? Because there's a dogish in there, we say shab, bat. So, because there's a dogish, there's a double letter. That's why it's not, this is why we don't say, this is why we don't transliterate Shabbat with only one B. It's why we transliterate it with two B's. Because there's a dogish. And the dogish sort of doubles it, makes it harder. Even though it's already a B.
But by the shaft, it's an R, right?
That, I don't know. I don't know if
It's
there's,
just part of the letter.
yeah, it just,
It doesn't make
So you add two sides and
it just tells you it's an SH. And then on the other side, it's a S.
H.
So if it's on the right side, it's like, if
SH.
it's on the left.
It's, I don't know if there's a name for it. No one's ever told me. I didn't really care.
Repeat the rule for number 2.
Number 2. So the first schwa ends the syllable. Okay? And you don't pronounce it.
And silent or short?
It's, no, you don't pronounce it. It's just the end of the word. Mish. So this would be mish. Right? Okay? That's the first syllable. And then this starts the second syllable. And so you pronounce it. You don't know that's a mish, mish panim. Mish panim. I guess this one does have a dogish in it. So this one, I guess it does have a dogish, so it really has this rule and this rule. But this rule is, if there's two of them together, the second one is usually pronounced.
So does, is it possible to put your name or just
You don't see it in some of the letters at all. I don't think you can, no, there's no dogish in Aleph, there's probably no dogish in Ayin. I don't know what other ones, there probably is never a dogish, but Aleph and Ayin, like we learned last week, really they don't have a sound at all. So I don't know how you would double it.
Double nothing.
Double, you get double or nothing. Okay. So number 4, when following a long vowel. Now, remember at the beginning I said that some of the vowels are long and some of the vowels are short. Okay? So we didn't really learn it. If you're really interested, you can go back and we'll maybe when we go on, we'll go back and do the long and the short. Right now we're just learning to read it. I don't think you'll really have to worry too much about this until later on. So you'll have it later on when we get to it, but this one being ko. Okay. We haven't gotten to this letter anyway. Kotavim. So this one, because the first holam, remember the dot? This is a long vowel. Okay, it's a long vowel. So you say, this is a k, so that'll be ko, and then this has a, it doesn't have a dogish. If it had a dogish, it would make more sense, but it doesn't. So since this is a long vowel, you do pronounce this one. It's not kot vim, it's kot tavim. Oops, no. That's under here. Kot tavim. So we have done Veen. That's a vet. This dot below is an E sound with the Yud and then a mem sophi. So we've done all these except the first letter there. We haven't done that yet. But because the nikud is long, you're going to pronounce the shva. Ko, ta, vim.
Where are we getting the O though? I thought O is like on the.
Well, sometimes you will see it like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Remember that this is a holam vav when you have a vav. When you don't have this, it's just a holam. Either way, it's a long vowel.
So shva makes the it sound because it's vocal. And
Right.
Right.
Right. So kotavim. All right. Let's look at some of the examples there. At the beginning of a word, here are the examples. Let's see. You want to try them, or do you want me just to read them?
There's too many words, too many letters we don't know.
Oh, you don't know. Okay, well, we'll wait on this till we get farther along. I do want you to look at the very last one there, because this is one that you're familiar with. The last one on the back. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Ah,
Hallelujah. This one
interesting that that's a guttural.
is like this. You're going to do ha or hal. So when you, on this last one here, the reason we say ha-le
Here.
is because there's your shva there after a long vowel. Ha-le, lu, yeah. Hallelujah. This is why there's double L's. Hallelujah. Well, I guess you could have it without the shva. Hal, hal, hale. But that's why it's double. All right, the shva is very tricky.
What lesson are we on?
We did 9 last week, didn't we?
We did 8.
8?
8.
We did 8 last week.
Yeah.
We will, I tell you what, we'll go over this again, especially when we get to some of the other letters. All right, so we did 8, so I have another work. I have a lot of worksheets this time. Another practice, because 1 through 8 is basically like the middle of the book. I'm going to look at just the last line here.
Is this supposed to be bet and bet and the dot's missing on one of them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. As you caught it, I need to go back and correct it. Yeah, one's a vet, one's a bet.
Does it matter which one's which?
No.
I'll do that.
Okay, well, I'll fix it when I get home. Everybody see that? Shlicha, I mean, sorry.
Fix.
Practice.
Right here, those two are the same. This is supposed to have a dot in the middle of it.
Yeah, one's supposed to have a doggish.
Well, actually first, remember you were reading from my.
And guess what? I don't have the sheen or the seam dots
So
either.
this would be before that. If
And,
you're reading this way.
and the
Oh,
sheen
yes,
and the
that one.
seam.
Wow.
The sheen and the seam I don't have either. So when I did this one, I did this one a few years back.
Here, this one.
And at that time, I didn't have a computer that could put on the Nikudot. So I was writing in things by hand and I forgot. So anyway,
Like this.
you see at the bottom how I wrote all the little dots and everything in my hand? I probably need to go back and redo this one now that I can actually do the Nikudot on my computer. Alright, so we're going to start at the very bottom line.
Started at the very beginning.
Yes, we're just going to go through the last line because that's the one that that's the latest. The newest and the greatest. The others are, it tells you there what page. So like on this page, it says this is going to be words through page 31. And then the next one, this is words through page 39, words page 48, and this one 56. So it'll tell you where to find them. You want to look them up? All right, so let's start with you. The first one there.
The very bottom one?
Yes, that's one right here.
Oh, this one,
Yeah.
okay. So that one is,
Yeah, very good. Sha'on. Okay, Elizabeth.
now here.
The back.
Where?
Very back, very last line.
These ones. Yes, that one. These ones.
No, on the other side. Right here.
No.
Sha'on.
Oh, okay.
You ready to find it?
Yes.
I lost two, I'm sorry.
All right, remember that Aleph does not have a sound unless there's a nikudot underneath. And so it does, right? So what is that going to sound like? R, yes. And then the shva is the second letter. It ends a syllable, so that's a syllable, R. And then what's next? Ayin doesn't have a sound and there's no nikud underneath it. And so even when you transliterate it, it's like, I would say it's sort of like a placeholder. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know why they put it there, but, so, Arba, yeah. Okay? That's it. Arba, sometimes you'll see the H on there. Arba. All right. Anybody else want to do the next one? Do you want to try? No. Do you want to try one? The third one, yeah. Right there. Right. You don't want to, who else wants to do the next one? Because some of you have not been here for the Aleph and the Ayin. To shop. Okay? The Ayin does not have a sound. It's just like a placeholder in this case. There's no vowel underneath it, or I don't think I've ever seen an Aleph or an Ayin with a holum, but after it, a holum vav I've seen. But no, there's no shva. That would be the apostrophe. That one, yeah. Tesha would be Tesha. Tesha is the third one. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Go on. Yes.
Page 56?
Yes, page 56.
Okay, the third one from the
Because
Yeah, right there, to shop.
So it takes
Oh,
the
here.
vowel.
I'm confusing the Sari with Shava.
Yeah. Nope. Sarai
That's a-
goes this way.
Okay, that's what I was.
The shva goes this way. Up and down is the shva. This is the sarai. All right. Now we've got a shva. Everybody wants one. Okay. Volunteer? You want to do it?
Lema'an.
Lema'an. Yes, lema'an. Lema'an. So if you want to transliterate it, you could do this, or you could do le-ma, and then on. Lema'an. That's it. Looks like an H, but that's an N. Okay.
This one right here. So that's an L, and then since there's
Now, when we divide it into syllables, you would have the schwa by itself, lemon. So there's really basically 3 syllables. Okay?
Yeah.
Ma'od.
Me'od, or ma'od, or me'od. Me'od.
Ma'od.
Me'od. On me'od, a lot of times you'll see it transliterated like this, but it's a schwa. Me'od. And like my Israeli friends always tell me, when you see a schwa, just pronounce it fast. No. That's why when you hear a lot of them talk, you're like, slow down, because a lot of their words, they just say mode. Not meld, mode.
No.
It's there, but you know, they say it fast. All right. Next one. Le amo. Le amo. And last one. Amo. And then the very last one, that big long thing, is a holiday. What holiday is it? Shavuot. Shavuot. And like I said, next week we're going to do more syllables. Any other questions on this? Something for you to look at this week. Something for me to do this week.
No, I just thought it was.
Uh-huh. Right. Yes. Uh-huh. But, well, it's not, because it's got, hold on.
Okay, so we just take
Oh.
We just take
This together
Right.
makes the U sound.
Uh-huh. Right.
So
Yes, on me'od, you could do me'od. Okay, you could write it like that. Whenever you see the little, I don't know what you call it, yud, it's not really yud, it's apostrophe.
Apostrophe.
I call it an
In
When it's-
transliteration, it is an apostrophe.
Yeah, in transliteration, it's just, whenever you see that, you're pretty sure that it's probably been a schwa there. Okay?
so we can use it, it's not something that we make.
Yeah, one thing I found about transliterations is that they vary. They don't have one standard way to transliterate things.
If you don't believe it, look at the word Hanukkah.
Oh, no. Yeah, when we get to the kaf and the kaf and the hop and all that, we'll see why that, you know, some people spell it with an H, some people CH. Same thing with challah and.
If you look online, you'll see an actual whole list of different ways that the word Hanukkah is transliterated. And
Right.
there's a big debate in Judaism, how do you actually spell Hanukkah?
Yeah. That's right. So, yes. And, let's see, I'm trying to think if we got there yet. No, we haven't gotten there yet. Israel does it basically the way we are doing it. But there's a few words that they transliterate differently than we do. But when we get there, I'll tell you what they are, so that if you look it up and you see this, you'll say, oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, I know what
Smarter
that's
to
about.
answer the question.
Yes.
Since I missed it, what made the old sound?
Oh,
The old, yes.
okay. So there's 2 ways you can do an O. When you have a vav with a dot on it, looks like an I, that's called holon vav. And that's going to make it O. The vav makes a sound of V, right? But when there's a dot on top, it's an O. Okay, it's not a sound.
When there's a dot on top, it's just a placeholder, so you got somewhere to put the dot.
Yeah. And you'll see things transliterated both with the hole involved and without it. Just like mailed. Like that. But if there's no dot on top and there's a nikud on the bottom, this would be what? Va. Va. So see the
To
difference?
the ova, if you put those together.
Ova. Probably a word, I don't know. Then you also have this.
Ooh,
Ooh. Sure.
uova.
Ova, yeah.
Okay.
So, ooh. Here again, they use the Bob. Poor little Bob.
Placeholder.
He's so used.
Usually.
What else do they use the Bob for? We talked about it, you remember?
Means and?
And. When you look in the Torah, almost everything has a Bob at the beginning. Because they don't really have sentences. It just like keeps going. And the word of the Lord said, and Michael did this, and David, and I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So, there's
It's
no,
almost like, this is a new thought.
Yeah.
And let me tell you about something else.
yeah. And
It's
so
one long run-on sentence.
right. And so it's no wonder that you see different translations, because people decide differently where the sentence ends. And like paragraphs, have you ever read your scriptures and you're thinking, why is this a new paragraph? You know? So it's hard because everything's an and,
For
it's
that
and.
matter, why is this a new chapter?
Right. The other thing the Bob does, and when you get onto a higher level of Hebrew, it also can change the tense from a present tense to a past tense. We definitely won't get into that yet. But, and that's really hard. Because then you're like, is this an and, or are they changing tenses? You know, are they going to the past tense now? It was the future tense, it was the, present tense, I don't know. So, anyway, Bob is overused. I mean, could they not have picked another letter?
Make
Make one up.
make a placeholder letter.
Of course, it was God who did it, right?
Right.
Because it's in the Torah,
Right.
so we can't question God. He just expects us to be smart.
The way Scripture has layers upon layers upon layers of meaning, I think someday we will probably see why he did that as a layer that
Yeah.
puts meaning into things that we wouldn't have dreamed.
I think it's sort of like the parables that Jesus taught. If somebody's really interested and really searching and really wants to know,
You can
God will
dig deeper.
reveal it to him, and
Yeah.
people will really study it, like
Yeah.
we're here because we really want to know.
Right.
Other people are going, it's too hard, it's not. So I think some of what he does it so that only those who are really interested will be able to comprehend it.
Right.
Or just so that we'll ask questions.
Yeah, or ask questions.
Like your kids aren't gonna learn anything if they don't ever ask a
That's
question.
right.
If you don't
I-
know something, you ask. If you don't, it says seeking, you will find. If you don't ask, you're not going to find an answer.
I truly believe we will be studying Torah for all eternity. There's that many levels, and it says I am the Word. If God Himself is that Word, there's going to be levels of depth that are so deep that we will never ever reach the ending of the duplicity of levels. And I have to think that maybe things like this with this weird letter that we don't know why it's there, that as we get to studying in about 4,000 years, we'll finally figure out why that letter was that way.
That's right. Or why you can't pronounce the name of God, So, we're going to go on. We're going to do page 57 if you have your book. Now, guys, we're getting into some good stuff. Next week, we're going to start counting. Hat, Stein, Shalosh, Shabbat, Meshesh. So we're going to do our numbers next week. We're going to get into some of the harder letters, like the Het. That's the one with Hanukkah. And of course, you got to practice. I'm sorry. With COVID, it's probably just as bad as singing. No wonder Israel's always being shut down.
Oh, that's funny.
Lockdown, or Israel. All right,
It's the het's fault.
that's
The
right, it's
het's
the head. The way they. Believe me, when you're over there, sometimes you want to stand 6 feet apart, even when there's. All right, so we're gonna do, the first one is noon, and it's pretty easy. The cursive is easy, because noon kind of looks, the block is like that. Noon is just a J. You just make it like a J, a fish head, whatever you want to say. And of course, how would you transliterate it?
Mm.
An N, okay? The noon, this noon right here, is never at the end of a word. It also has a Sophie. We've already done that. You remember what noon Sophie is?
It's just a long line.
It's just a long
It's a long
line.
line that extends below the other letters.
Here, this is no.
Let's see. Mine. Ma'im. Well, I wanted one with an N. I wanted,
Spell Sophie, S-O-F.
The word moon,
wanted a word with an N on the end.
when they
So
spell
this
out
one is
moon.
Let's see if I can find an easy one.
Mm.
Our own, like we did last week. Okay, so this one, Aaron. Aaron. So that's where the N is on the end. This is a noon Sophie. This is just your noon, and that's in the middle. Or the front, yeah. It's not at the end. Everywhere but the end. Okay, you ready for the next one?
How do you spell Sophie? S-O-F.
All right.
Gimel.
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 S-O-F-I-T.
That's a gimel.
Okay.
Now,
Looks like an upside down question.
kind of looks like an upside down question mark, yes. Let me make sure I do it the right way. Sometimes I go the wrong way. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Okay, now, so here's the way, because there's going to be another one that goes the other way. Okay, so there's one going to go this way, one's going to go this way.
Like a B and a D in English.
Right. The way this one for me is, I make it, for me it's like, it looks like a cup. So it's a cup and I'm going to fill it, gimel, give me. Give me. I got my hand out.
Cup with a handle on it.
Yeah. I don't know, however you want to do it. You know, I tell my students at school, it's always good to come up with some way for you to
If
remember.
it's like an upside down question mark, to say it was a guess.
That's a good one
Yes.
too. Upside down question mark, it's a guess. I say it's a cup, it's a gimme. Gimel. So what would a gimel, what would it transliterate?
G.
G. All right.
But it's the g like in guess, not the kind of English g as in like j, where it has a j.
Like got,
It has no J sound.
It's no j.
got,
It only has the one sound.
give, goat. Yeah, go.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with line 4 on 57. Because it does have some, it has a Shabbat, and it has a Gimel. Pardon? Okay. Gal, gal. Gagal. I wonder if that would be a part of the word Golgotha. Probably. Go, 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 go.
Are you guys on the first one and the fourth?
Uh-huh.
How do you
Gall, gall. Gall, gall.
So, what does it have to do with the L?
Yeah, that's not.
It's a syllable marker.
Or number 4 at the bottom.
Gadol.
Four at the bottom.
Oh, no,
It
is
is
it
a-
silent or fast L?
It's a closing of a syllable. So it closes the syllable.
The Shiva makes it a break.
Yeah. Gall. That's gall.
So it's not gall, it's
And then it's-
gall.
Gall.
You're right. It's
It's
Gall.
not gall, it's gall.
turns into.
It's a slight break because it said, this is, yeah.
Like in the transliteration, would there be a little apostrophe there?
No, because you're not pronouncing it.
Right, but when you're not pronouncing it, don't they put that apostrophe?
No, if you're not pronouncing it, it's just the end of a syllable.
Yes, the end of the syllable.
But this has no sound here, because it's not.
So gall.
All the rules that when
Gall.
we pronounce it, this is not one of them.
So, yeah, you don't put the little
It's a phrase.
apostrophe unless you're pronouncing it. Because like I said, they don't really have a letter of our alphabet that corresponds with it.
You say gall, gall.
But you're
So
pronouncing.
there's
You're pronouncing the L, but you're not saying a separate lip.
Oh, okay,
Gall,
not
gall.
like L.
As opposed to.
Right.
gall.
Oh,
It's not
Subtle,
gall.
That's all it is.
It's not golly gall. Golly gall, if it was golly gall, then you would.
Like she said, it's called gall.
Then it would be gall, gall. So if you pronounced it, it would be golly.
Golgotha doesn't have another L sound in it, John.
All right.
Golgotha, something.
Huh?
A Ted, Golgotha, Ted.
I don't know. Do you?
I know, we.
All right, next one, Elizabeth.
the second one?
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Go L. Go L, okay. What's the next one? Gomel and Gadol. Everybody knows what Gadol is, right?
No.
Big, huge.
Oh, okay. Oh.
All right, go to the next page, because you can practice it.
Like I told LOI, the big God.
Let's go to line 11. Let's just jump into the hard stuff here.
Elaine?
Aleinu. What's the next one?
Ooh, that is hard. That's, L.
Abotenu.
Avotenu.
And
The first one?
The first one is Aleinu.
Oh, okay.
Abotenu.
Avotenu. What's the next one? Benenu. And Dayenu.
Everybody!
Okay, go to page 64 of the vocabulary, because now you're learning enough letters that you're going to have a lot of words here that you can know and read.
Well, we can at least read them.
At least
Right.
read.
Know them is a whole nother issue.
Some of these are probably really familiar words, but you just didn't really know what they meant, and so now you get to know what they mean. All right, the first one there has a shva at the beginning, So how would you pronounce that? Huh? 64. The one with the vocabulary.
Like no?
Okay, so what's
64 with the vocabulary.
Like one.
B'nai.
B'nai.
B'nai Israel.
B'nai Israel. Children of Israel. Okay. B'nai can also mean sons. Sons of Israel. But because we do believe that we should have the girls in there too. We say children of Israel.
Yeah.
All right, what's the second one?
On.
There.
Gone.
Gale.
Neb. Where do we hear the neb? What do we say?
Prayers.
The Shabbat candles. When you,
I don't really think that was a R.
Shabbat candles. Also is gam. Stranger. Yeah. I have, well, my pastor at my last congregation, his last name was Gab. He calls it sojourner. So, it's the same thing. Stranger, you're wandering like a gypsy, you're going place to place, you're a sojourner. All right, to us.
Lanu.
Lanu, okay? So the ending new, we talked about this, I think. The ending new always means we are us. We are us.
and not you.
And then l at the beginning, you'll either have a shva, or in this case it has a nikudot. So what's this, if you have a la at the beginning, a lot of times that means what? Two. So we had a whole bunch of them last time, I think, if I can read them. Lamod, to stand. Lasot, to do. I'm just reading something last week.
Okay.
Yeah. Laman, sake of, to the sake of. Anyway, a lot of times at the beginning of a word, not always, but I would say the majority of the time, if you have a lamed at the beginning, it's going to mean to something. So in this case, to us. Okay. What's the next one? Our feet. Raglenu. So the new at the end means what? Us, we are. Okay. Raglaim are your feet, are your legs, really. Raglenu. What's the next one? Our generation. Dorenu. Dor vador means generation to generation.
Yeah.
Our father. Avotenu. Here again, see the new at the end? That means it's all of us, okay?
Y'all.
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 Now you know new is y'all in Hebrew.
The father of y'all. For
Lives.
essence.
Lives. Gar. So if it was a man, it would be Hugar. He lives. But if it's a girl, it's he gara.
And for a bunch of people, cigar.
He gara. She lives. So we're not really getting into conjugating verbs yet, but what's to live? Lagur. Lagur. All right, here again, see the lamed at the beginning. All right, to play like an instrument.
Game.
Len again.
Again. Okay.
Len again.
Yeah.
Plays like oh, that's to play. Okay, so just plays an instrument is menigan. Menigan. For great or big, gadol. Grew. Gadal. Magnify. Gadlu. Gadlu.
Yeah, that's where it's used as a break again.
Right. Genius? Gaon?
The genius gave the answer.
Yeah, okay. Number 5, Redeemer. Goel. Boaz was the kinsman redeemer. He was a Goel. Shield. Magen. What do they call the, I think it's the Israeli flag. Magen David. Part of the Talmud is Gemara. 6, camel. Gamal. Rooster. Now here you've got the two shvas. Tar, that ends the first syllable. So the next one you're going to pronounce net
Yeah.
goal.
Carnival.
Nope.
We had to get rid of all of our roosters because we live in a subdivision.
I can understand that. They probably took offense at the crowing every morning.
Well,
This one
yeah.
is a break.
Well, they would have. As soon as we found out that they were roosters,
That's one of the rules.
they were released to pursue their own home lives. So tar.
Somewhere in a subdivision in Houston, there's a lot of roosters running around.
That's right. I actually took them to a spot where I figured there were people there that might want to have them. I'm not going to say anymore.
Dinner or?
Either way. Tar. Nut. So you might see it like this. The one way you probably will never see it is with an I, because that would be neat. If you're going to see it at all, you would see it with an because that's the closest to it. Tar, net, and then what's the last? Goal. Okay, because it has on the
And they're yummy.
where are we at?
No, that's the chicken.
Yeah.
I take a male. He cooks too.
Okay, so you have the hole in here. It's not a hole in vav. But I'm telling you, if you look things up, sometimes they will have the vav and sometimes they won't have the vav. So, carnival. All right, what's Israeli coins? Agorot.
That's for all of the coins, Israeli coins?
Yeah. It's
In
not
general
kesef.
term.
Would they use it for coins in general? I mean, if
Yeah.
I brought coins from another country, they'd still call them coins, so it would be.
Yeah, probably.
Agorot.
How do you say Israeli coins?
Agorot.
Actually, be all coins in general is what you're trying to say, not just Israeli.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that would be kesef, money.
Well, I'm saying all money, but if I actually brought coins from somewhere else, would they still call
Israeli,
them
Australian,
coins?
French.
I don't know.
Coins as opposed to money.
You're asking something I don't know.
And that's hard to do. Congratulations.
Wonders.
Is it no David?
Noder.
Am I saying it
Yeah.
wrong?
So that's
Noded.
the trouble making come up with hard questions.
Noded. Wandered. Nadad. Carries. Noseh. And carried. Nasa. So when you go, you'll see that in a present tense.
That end's missing.
Present tense has a lot of O.
If the end is missing.
Past tense has ah.
I don't know
So
why.
present tense,
The end is-
no dead. Past tense, nada. But here again, once we finish this book, if we want to go on until maybe summer comes, we might get into some of the different transliteration, conjugations. I'm brain dead. All right, any questions?